Welcome to the shooting show. This week we're back out on the pigeons defending a linseed crop, a winter linseed crop. The farmer gave us a shout yesterday and he's had a bit of trouble with pigeons on here in the past, and I did have a day over the other side of the hedge there some time back. Most of the crop now is just beginning to get away. There's just a few annoying pigeons that's been coming over the motorway, which is we're on the side of, but everything's okay because the motorway itself is a good 70 metres directly behind me, and we're shooting away from it. So we just come up here. I came and had a look last night. Didn't see huge amounts of activity, but I did see pigeons coming on here. And you know, like people know, if the farmers ask you to come out, you know, the least I could do is just come out and sit in the afternoon. Hopefully one more afternoon of deterring the pigeons from coming here might be all that it needs to get this bit of corner here up and running like the rest of the field. So we're here, we've set up, we're just going to see what happens. As you can see, I've started off with plastic decoys. I've got some enforcer decoys. All the real ones that I had gone to the game dealers, and I forgot to put some aside. So I started off with the plastic ones, and what I'm doing basically is every time I shoot a real one, putting that out, bringing the plastic one back, so eventually the pattern will become all real pigeons. As good as the enforcer decoys are, you know, real ones are as good. You know, they are the best. So as the day goes on, like I say, we'll take all the plastics in, and they'll all be real pigeons. And with the pigeons around this area at the moment, that's just how it seems to go. 1 minute you've got a nice lot about, next minute they've all disappeared. Probably found some peas or something like that, but they must be miles away because there's no one local to us that's got peas. So in general, that's just the way it is on here at the moment. If you're a pigeon shooter like myself, it's doom and gloom. If you're a farmer, like I've been on the land today, it's happy days. You know, they haven't got to worry about hordes of pigeons hitting their crops. And I just come out and sit here, as much as I enjoy doing it anyway. Instead of shooting 50 or 60, what I thought I was going to do, finished up with mid-20s.
coming up.
As you can see, I'm wearing my Komodo Pro shooting glasses. Absolutely brilliant on a day like today. We've been going from cloudy to sunny. As we are at the moment, it's really bright sunny with hardly any clouds in the sky. So the glasses have come to the full darkness. But as soon as the clouds come over and they cover the sun up, I'll try and sort of give you an idea with my finger. Put it over the solar panel side of it on the middle of the glasses, and the glasses immediately turn light. Sunny, light. So you've got two pairs of glasses in one. So they are the ultimate all-round glasses. Well, I think we're on the verge of packing up now. When we got here, we're here because obviously the farmer's asked me to come up here. He's got a few pigeons hitting this particular area. There was linseed, everything else has got away. So we've come up here. I didn't think it was going to be a hugely big bag today, but we're here for the purpose of protecting the crops. The first hour and a half, they come lovely and decoyed in really well. Don't know what the shot, 20 plus. The second hour and a half is just gone absolutely dead. Nothing coming over the motorway, nothing in the air, it's just gone dead. So hopefully we've done what we intended to do in the first place, which was protect his crop. That will just give it a chance to get away and join the rest of the field.
Right then, Alan, I've come here to see how the process is from start to finish on a knife.
Yeah.
And I, for one, for many years, just had an opinel knife, bog standard hunting knives that were off the shelf.
Yeah.
But then I met you at the Northern Shooting Show and looked at your little corny knife, and with a little suggestion from my thumb here, I had one made, and it has been used a lot. It's a pleasure to use. It's nice and easy to keep clean. Let's go and have a look at how you make them.
Yeah, come on. Right, so we've got this piece of steel. So this is about 3mm thick. So I've got my profile. I'm going to place it on top of my piece of steel, clamp it into place. Then what I do then is I get my scribe out and go round the outline. So I'm making a mark within the die that I've already put on. I can mark round the rest of the blade. Now I'm going to take it over to my bandsaw to cut it out. With the profile roughly cut out, my next job is to take it to my grinder so I can actually smooth around all the edges. So that's the blade started off roughly ground out. So I've got to swap the grinder over, and then I've got to get into all these little bends here. Right, blade is now fully profiled. Next thing I've got to do is get it prepped up for drilling all holes into it. once I've got the blade drilled out, all the holes put into it, what I'll then go on to is going back onto my grinder and actually flattening the sides down on each side of the blade. So I'll be using finer and finer grit. So I usually take it from a 180 grit to a 240 and then finish on a 320, and it'd be the 320 grit that I'd send it away for heat treating, or I'll do the heat treating myself. I'll also add my logo onto the blade. I do that with stamping onto with the pressure, putting a high pressure stamp onto it. I don't always put the logo onto it. It all depends on what sort of grind I'm going to put on the finished blade. Some have a full flat, so I'll basically put the first bevel onto the side of the blade, and then it has a secondary bevel, which is the sharp edge. Quite often I'll do if I'm putting my logo on, then I'll do a sabre grind, which is putting the first bevel up to the base of the logo. I've also done the Scandinavian grind, which is just one single bevel. All depends on what people prefer, but this one's going to be going for a Scandinavian grind. So what I'm going to do is start hand sanding through different grits, and I'll take it up to 600. I've got to take this scale off the top of it, all the discoloration, get down to the steel below and make it all nice and clean. Work that through until I've got rid of all the scratches. Once I've done that, then I'll move on to 600 grit, and it's what I finish my blades on. That's the blade all cleaned up, so the next thing to do is attach the handle to it. So I've got a selection of different materials that I use on a regular basis. The first one is the G10 here. Next one that I've got is general acrylics. Another material that we've got is the micarta. The bonus with acrylics is that they don't absorb any moisture, they don't get as dirty as easily, which is a main thing that you're looking at when you're thinking about a stalking knife or a hunting knife. This knife here has already got the handle material glued on into place. It's been bolted on with a couple of Corby bolts. It's all been sanded flat and the profile has been added to it. Next thing what I've got to do with this is then get it onto a grinder again and start roughing out the shapes on it. The only thing is, it creates a lot of dust, obviously, it's not great for the cameras. So once it's profiled, I get it sanded through. I'll get it down to about 120 grit on the grinder, and then it's basically taking everything by hand, shaping all the rest of it. I almost like a Coke bottle shape, where I take a slope off the front, dig into the middle slightly. I've gone for this sort of profile where there's a little bit of a finger notch forward of the knife handle. Some people like to put different bellies on it, but that's not my particular style. Once I've got it all nicely shaped up, I've then got to polish it, and then the last bit of it, especially if it's just got the little secondary bevel on, is to go and sharpen it. So I've got a couple more sorted out, so I can show you what those are next. There we go. So that's it for this stone. I then move on to my 400 stone. The reason I use wet stones, or in this case a wet diamond stone, is that I don't like overheating the edge of the blade, which is what you can do with the big grinders. If you do overheat it, then that means it's knackered basically. The temper on the blade is damaged. You can't get the temper back into it because it's going through the heat treating process, and once the handle's all on, that's it, you can't do anything else with it. So that's basically the last process. Get the stones done, it's all nice and sharp, all it needs is a bit of a strop, and then it's finding the right sheath for it. So there we go, a final knife. This one's all sorted and ready to go out. So the handle itself is the orange G10. Put it down in the field, you'll be able to find that quite easy. Stainless bolts, the blade it's all cleaned up, it's been sharpened, that's ready to go. The leather of the sheath has been waxed, so that's got a protective coating, so if it gets a bit of rain on it, get a bit damp, it's just going to come straight off. Like I say, and that one's now ready to go out.
Hi, I'm Geoff Garrod. Hope you've enjoyed watching the shooting show as much as I've enjoyed making it. We'll see you next time on the shooting show.
If you aren't a member of Basque, it's time to join now. Basque, looking after your sport, looking after you.